Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Podcast to Victory. So, today I want to talk about dropping out of school. A disclaimer: if you are not 100% sure that you want to drop out of school right now, don't continue to listen. I would say this podcast is just for people who are 100% sure that they want to drop out of school and don't know what to do. So let's get that out of the way and finally start. So this question these two words actually have bothered me for quite a while, as I have made some experience with it. So I know that there are people out there who are very, very scared of what could happen if they drop out of school. I'm talking about dropping out of the high school stuff, the stuff that you choose to do, that you don't have to do anymore. I mean, at least this is how it is in Austria. I can't tell for other countries. So, just a little story to get you a little insight. It was the 7th class, so this was 1 year before the Matura. In Germany it's the Abitur, and in America it would be the A-levels, I guess. So I dropped out of school 1 year before that, like I said. And back then I also had to make the decision. Because I knew, there were many circumstances that made me do this decision or made me think about this decision, but we don't want to focus on that right now. So what I did, I thought to myself, look, if I'm going to drop out now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with my life? And remember the words my life, because they are important. Because, and here it comes, your parents and probably your family will tell you to finish school. No, there's no way that they say I don't give a fuck what you do. I mean, there are parents who do this, but in most cases they will say finish it. I mean, it's kind of understandable because they are scared, because they don't know what you want to do after that. But look, if you really need something else, if you're in a stance where you don't even live anymore for yourself, drop it. Don't do it. I remember back then that my days were, I don't know, they were wrecking me. But not just school. That was actually okay. It was the things that came after that. Those were the things that gave me the rest, because 2 times a week we had school till 6 o'clock and in the evening, and then after that, what I did, I didn't went home and learned. What I did, I went to the gym. So after you're already a little bit tired, you head to the gym. Then you do some, 1.5 hours your program, and then go home again. Then you are more tired. And then what I had to do is I had to learn, stuff I needed to learn. And then I had to go to drive into the city and how do you say this in English? I'm not sure. Take secondary lessons, like not go to school. You go to a separate, how do you say, to a separate kind of company, or I don't know how you would call it, that they teach you math again. They do it better. They teach you how to do it better, like a second school where you go to learn it more intense. I'm 100% sure you guys know what I mean, but I just don't know the words to construct that right now. I'm sorry for that. So that was really late then. And when I came home, it was let me guess, it was 10 p.m. I think, it was 10 p.m. or something. And then I had to look if there was a test. I had to learn again. And at the next day I had to stand up at 5 a.m. So not much sleep, but a whole lot of work on the day. And I mean, this wouldn't even be the bad thing, for me. But the problem is I actually did just one thing on the day I really loved, and that was going to the gym. And the rest I did because it was school. And, I said, look, if I continue to live like that, I'm going to wreck myself. And this is actually what kind of happened at the end, which was, in my opinion, really, really sad. Because, it depends on how much you learn and how much you understood the stuff. And clearly, I've been a lazy guy. I will definitely don't hide that away. But, in the end, I just couldn't. I said no. And, the teachers at the end of the year, they thought that they can kind of use you in a certain way, or kind of use you as a punching bag, as a metaphor, and kind of go into you because they know, look, nobody of these people is going to drop out now. So I try to make them, I don't give a F anymore, and try to make them a bad time, and do them stuff no teacher should do. I mean, I'm not talking about something illegal. Even if we look at the law here, something would have been illegal. Like making political lessons or something while the religion lesson or something. But that's less the problem. Like I said, they really made the circumstances bad in the school, put the people under stress, one test after another, every lesson they were testing people, and, they exactly know that nobody had the balls to drop out, so they decided to just keep doing that. And I said, look, you don't do that with me. I'm done with this. I'm definitely done with this. And so I finished the year just to get the paper from the school that said, here you go, you finished this year. And then I said, look, fuck yourself. Like, I didn't say it, but, my attitude to that was F yourself, excuse my language, but it really was that. And then I said, look, what am I going to do? I want to go to the military, to the army, But this is a later part. We don't want to focus on that. So right now I'm getting a job somewhere as an electrotechnician. I don't know if this was an English word, but I hope so. But this doesn't matter now. Let's focus on this dropping out of school. And so how did I come up with that I can drop out of school and just don't get my mature, my A-levels? Well, I mean, I became kind of an attitude, and this was a time where I watched a lot of motivational videos you see on YouTube, and then I thought, look, even if I'm gonna drop out of school, my life is not gonna end. There will be something more to see. There is much of a life ahead of me. I'm just 19 years old, and I know, look, for me it doesn't matter. For me, people always think that you are, especially here in Austria, people think that if you don't have the Matura, the so-called A-levels or Abitur, you just have the chance to rise up. Only with this, let's call it ticket, you start to have even a chance in the society to come up and to get a lot of financially wealth at the end of your life. But I said, look, there are enough people that made it far beyond this normal financially wealth, but those people also started in much worse circumstances. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I want to get in your head, and especially in the head of Austrian people, that I say, look, just because you didn't finish your school, your high school, that doesn't mean that you can't become successful. Because what I'm doing right now with this podcast thing going on, I don't need a Matura for that. I can do this on my own. And clearly, it is hard, and especially at the beginning. But look, do that what you love. That's what I say, and love what you do, and make a life out of this. And if you see yourself, so if you see yourself studying, like I said at the beginning, just don't drop out of school if you think about finishing school because you want to study at the university. Like I said, don't even think about dropping out. Just fight through it. But I think I'm going to do another video on fighting through school. But let's get back. Like I said, you have to do stuff that... Excuse me. I just stood up 1 hour ago. Where? Hold on. Yeah, that you have to stuff that you love to do, but don't make it too comfortable for yourself. Kind of, don't be the guy who doesn't want to see reality as it is. Because what life is about, as Jordan Peterson would say, life is suffering. And that's how it is, but you learn from it. And, I also went through a process of suffering after school, I especially after military, after the army. I kind of started there right now. That wasn't good. Especially after the army, but I went through it and I'm happy now, and I'm coming up now again. But this is also a process I had to go through, and I say that not many people bring up the mindset for saying, look, this is my life and I'm gonna do with my life that I want to do. When I was working at a company of the city Innsbruck here, it was like how do you say, like a big place to deploy all your rubbish that you have with wood and iron and everything, bicycles, microwaves, batteries and everything. You know what I mean. So kind of a recycling facility. And I worked there and I met a guy. He was really open-minded. And he was like, look, man, you have to do with your life what you want and not what others want. If you want to live your whole life in the forest, well, then go do it, because this is your life. And nobody can take that from you. You really have to do what you want. I mean, clearly, you will have to go through a process of suffering, but this is normal, But like, kind of, he was like that guy, who thought like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die happy and say I did that what I loved, and I loved what I did. That was this kind of guy. And I really thought about that, because this was actually in the holidays, between 2 school years. And I really started to think, and he was right, actually. Because I probably, if I would have continued school till now, I maybe would have had the A levels for now, the Matura. But I definitely know that I wouldn't have started with doing the podcast. And I mean, sure, at the beginning, nobody will get your stuff. I mean, for example, like it's here. And I think I also mentioned that in the podcast before. But look, you have to start small. Then don't go the fast way with the cheaty stuff. You will have to go the slow process to get the biggest end. And I see myself now on a good way of making something out of this podcast, because I'm always kind of evolving. But the thing is, even if I don't get a lot of views, I'm okay with that. And you want to know why? Because I do it because I love it. And if you know the stuff about promoting and advertising stuff, that's secondary, such as money as or something like that, you know. The primary should be loving what you do. And for me, I kind of love giving people life advices. I mean, I'm 19 years old. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a doctor or something, but the knowledge that I have is from books and life experience, and this is what I want to share with people. And I saw and I heard, you know, from my friends and, you know, my surroundings, that it helped them when I was telling to them. So I thought, look, why don't I bring this on the internet? And started with that. And that's what I'm doing right now, and this is what gives me a good feeling. That's it. So think about this for a moment. Let this be kind of a blueprint. And I know that not everybody can be successful, but this has only one reason, and this would be yourself. If you limit yourself in such a way that you totally block success out of your life, that's the way to go if you don't want to be successful. But there's, like I said, there's the other path, and that other path will be, you know, more effort to execute, you know. There's not even more effort, there will be a little more suffering, you know, because, and definitely there will be less to no support for you, because people don't always support you on that. I'm still at the beginning, guys, you know, and I don't want to play the big Moses here and show you the way to the paradise, but but kind of, you know, think about what you really want from life. There are like, let's say, 70%, in my opinion, like I said, this is not a statistic, this is my opinion now, that are in school and don't even know about their future. I mean, think about that. You know, because I asked some people, especially in my class, and then they said, yeah, mostly because my parents want me to, or, you know, I don't actually know, or I'm just doing it because I will have a better position in public then, you know. That's their most common 3 answers. And I'm like head shaking then, because come on, this can't be. Why would you do that? I mean, invest the time properly and do something that you really love to do. And the craziest thing is, in my time when I went to school, there were actually 2 girls who suicided, or how do you say, who proceeded suicide, you know, not proceeded, you know, who just killed themselves. Let's say it like this, you know, because of the stress of school. Or another example, people at the university, they do the same because they can't handle, like, again, with this whole stress situation, or and the pressure they have. And I think myself, like, come on, this can't be. Somebody needs to help these people, you know, but nobody is caring, actually. I mean, at the first, when this happens, everybody is like, yeah, we are so sorry, we should have treated them better, we should have, you know, always this, we should have, you know. I mean, now you can't do anything again. But the sad thing is that after some months, this gets forgotten. That especially girls, that because those were 2 girls, like I said, they died. People start to forget that, and they don't even care about it anymore, and they continue the same way. I mean, and the strange and completely effed up thing for me is that, like I said, they still keep doing it. And they give the fault to them then, because they say they were weak in their head, or something was wrong in their head, that they did such thing. And that's what they do. I mean, they even give the fault to them. I mean, clearly the actions of the person. You know, other people are not responsible for your actions. And the same with these girls. I don't say that the people at the school, the teachers there, were responsible for her actions, what she did. I'm definitely not saying that. But just standing there and saying she was too weak and everything, that's not okay. And I know that this is not just in my school, because, just saying they are weak, this doesn't help. Because the thing that you have to do, it's obvious you have to help, but nobody is willing to make their hands dirty, And another sad thing is that the persons that are wanting the suicide, they don't tell people. And they don't tell people that, that they have problems. And it's sad that it came this far, And looking at this bigger picture now, it is sad that people kill themselves because of pressure in a school or a university. And this is where I come again. Before you even think about doing that, you better drop the F out. This is your life. Don't let other people point fingers and kind of say, what you have to do. This is your life. And why would you waste it like that? Like I said, you can do school, no problem, or you can continue it later. I have one of my friends, Max from ONERAPWORLDWIDE. He also kind of makes the Matura. He dropped out with me the same year, and then he made the Matura at another school, and he finished it. And there's always an opportunity to do stuff, but don't think about harming yourself because of any problem. This does not just go for school. Just think about that. This is your life. Like I said, you have this one life. And look, don't let yourself be a wreckage. And because, people want to be successful, and then in schools, they are trained like they are supposed to follow others. They really get taught to do what other people want. That's what I saw. We didn't get the opportunity to be a boss or something, or learned about how to be a boss. We learned to do what the teacher says, and otherwise you will get punished with bad marks, That's what it is. So you had to follow, or otherwise you wouldn't succeed. And then the teachers get kind of over their position, because then they think they can do with the students what they want, because if they don't, they get bad marks. And this is how it was in my school. And this is my opinion, And that's how it is. Just one thing for you guys. When I started with my class back then, we were around 19 or 20 people. And at the end, till this day, right now, where school actually ended again, there were only 6 or 7 people left in class. Do you think this is okay? And the funny thing was that teachers even gave us the fault that we were lazy and not willing to learn. That they were just pushing the problem to us. And this was the point where I said, because we tried to solve the problem, but this wasn't possible. But I don't want to go in deeper detail with that now, because otherwise the video is never going to finish there. But like I said, then I said, look, I'm not gonna let those people do this to me. I don't want it anymore. I'm gonna drop out. Even if my parents were against it. Even if they said, finish it, or you won't become a high position in life. I said, look, I don't give a F. This is my life, and I'm going to do the hell what I want, and not what anybody else wants. So get this. And believe me, what will happen? You are not going to die or anything. That would be a stupid idea. People just don't want to go through the suffering. But I can tell you one thing, if you don't want to suffer, you're definitely not going to be successful, because this is also what life is about. I experienced myself. Okay, guys. This podcast runs for 25 minutes now. Actually, it's a pretty longer than I actually wanted to make it. So, guys, like I said, just some last sentences. Come on, this is your life. You have to live it like you want to. Love what you do, and do what you love. And if you have to drop out of school, which was our topic, then do it. If the circumstances are that worse that you don't see a way to become successful, just drop out. Drop. Just do it. Imagine Shia LaBeouf with this. Do it. That's what you. That's what you have to do. Just drop out. And even if you think about to harm yourself, drop out and then get help, because this is what it's about. What it is about. So guys, like I said, I hope these sentences helped you. And before I end the video, again, and like always, follow me on Instagram, STREETTOVICTORY. I have my podcast on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, and Anchor now. And check them out. If you want to contact me, just write me on Instagram. You know where to find me now. And yeah, guys, like, remember those last words that I said before the advertising now. Please, do yourself a favor. Okay, guys, I wish you the best, and I'll see you the next time. Have a nice one.